regularly called to be an expert witness in court cases. Due to his extensive experience in packaging science, packaging engineering, and technology thereof, he holds a professorship in packaging engineering, is the 2022 recipient of the International Packaging Hall of Fame, and is the current president of the World Packaging Organization, or WPO, that everyone knows. So, are you ready for the next speaker? He is very famous for every one of you today, so please give me welcome Professor Pierre Vienna, the president of the WPO. ขอเสียงปรบมือต้อนรับค่ะ
All right. Good morning, everyone. What I'm going to do is show just what we're seeing very recently. So there are only a few slides. It'll only take 5 minutes. And every day we'll do what we're seeing on the daily news in packaging. So what we're seeing over here, this brand, many of you know the brand of Ritter Sport. And what we're seeing more and more of, which is in line with what the last speaker was talking about, and that is the move across to paper or paper-based material. So yeah, all that I'm showing you here is that a very big, well-known global brand has also moved into the paper sector. And we're going to see more and more of this happening, and you heard recently now what happened. The other one I want to mention is that we're seeing a confectionery growth of, over the last couple of months, across the globe, 3%, which is quite interesting as to why has that happened. And unfortunately, the article doesn't explain why this increase has happened globally around the world, that they're finding a 3% increase. But what it does tell us in our packaging industry, that's a direct impact on our industry. Because 3% growth over such a short period is an enormous amount of extra material that's now going into confectionery. So it's a matter of watching this particular space in the months that follow to see whether that growth is going to plateau or continue to grow at 3%. So just keep an eye on that one. All right, the next one, Waitrose. Waitrose is a British-based company, and what they were just updating us on in Easter that went past in April, that they changed their confectionery range and making it, cutting the overall packaging weight of their product, of their packaging, and created a 20% less amount of packaging being used across their range of products, and putting almost 1 metric ton of plastic less into landfill. So these are all small contributing factors, but it is always interesting to stay abreast with what's happening on the global market. So that's another one that has come up in the last couple of days. This is another British company, also Waitrose, and what they've done here, they're moving their wine bottles from glass to aluminium cans, which is very interesting. That we're going to see, whether we're going to see more of this happening, I can't tell you, but what I can tell you, this is what has happened, and they're saving 300 tons of glass. Now remember that 300 tons of glass, you also have to look at the supply chain. Glass is a much heavier product, aluminium is a much lighter product, therefore there's an impact on your life cycle analysis. That'll drop as well. So the other ramifications that we have to be aware of. So bear that in mind, that's another interesting one that's come about. And then the last one for this morning is KitKat, again, more moving across to paper. And the last speaker mentioned this as well. So here's another product. We had Ritter in the first slide. We've got Nestle in this final slide, also moving away from polymer-based material into paper-based. Now, whether this is plant-based, I can't tell you, or if there's any plant in it, but what we are seeing is a move to paper. Are there any questions? come back tomorrow and I'll give you more updates on what the last 24 hours is across the world. Thanks very much.
Okay. Thank you very much, everyone. So please give a round of applause to the Professor Pierre once again. Thank you so much, sir. All right, for the next speaker. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Shall we continue? Yes, okay, thank you so much. And the next presentation is on under the topic packaging innovation in agro industries. Okay, this one for 30 minutes. Please allow me to read a brief biography to the next speaker, Mr. Hengi Wibawa, the Vice President for Education, World Packaging Organization or WPO, and Executive Director, Indonesian Packaging Federation or IPF. All right. Mr. Hengi Wibawa served as Indonesian packaging consultant and executive director of Indonesian Packaging Federation based in Jakarta. He has more than 30 years of experience in market and business development and research across the packaging manufacturing industry. Aga Kaya PI, Europack, AI Can, FlexiPack, Amcor, Flexiburst Indonesia. He is the current Vice President of the World Packaging Organization, responsible for global packaging education. So, without further ado, let me welcome Mr. Hengi Wibawa. Please give a big round of applause.
Thank you. Well, I'm going to share about the, before the first speaker was talking about the packaging solution. What I'm going to share now is about the application solution with the packaging. So, like Thailand, of course, I know that it's very, very strong in the agriculture and agro industry as well. So, but it's a very, very large sector. So I'm going to give you, share to you a case study that I made based on the fruit packaging. So that this is the background. So the fruit is part of the agriculture. So fruit is a part that's still alive, we call it, still breathable. Okay, so that's why they need a certain, for the functionality, that to extend the fresh life, we have to understand what we need to really make it the barrier. The barrier doesn't mean that, as the first speaker was talking about the barrier of oxygen and so on, but how we can really extend the fresh life. And then, of course, the external influence as well. I will talk later on. So, and then how as I mentioned that before, the product is still alive. So they need also a certain ingredient that in order still to keep ripening, in order that you can eat nicely and, of course, according like the really a fresh product. So, this is many solutions actually that you can have. What I'm going to share here is modified atmospheric packaging, and what we can also use later on, kind of the additional agent that we can really extend the fresh life. So this is the solution, what we call smart packaging. So it's necessary that, as the first speaker was talking about the barrier property of the packaging, but here is more really focused on the functionality. So the functionality that we have to understand in order that we really can design the packaging accordingly. So first is regarding also the solution with the modified atmospheric packaging, that because the challenge is how we really can adopt the whole functionality that we need beside what is given today. That is the passive packaging given today, and this is more into the active packaging. So modified atmospheric packaging is to extend the shelf life, and by controlling the mixture of the gases that inside that. But not only that, because all over the product, definitely there's a microorganism that make the product spoiled, will not taste nice anymore, and could be also toxic. That's why. So that's why the microbial is one of the solution without, beside the other biochemicals as well. So in that case, in modified atmospheric packaging, the gases that usually uses mainly is carbon dioxide and nitrogen. So that is the main. In terms of the quality of the food and its hygiene, definitely the MAP is part is because with the packaging, as I mentioned, packaging. So that definitely should be a hygiene, and with the whole gas mixture that we are going to see later on, according to the product again, because each of the fruit, even the fruit, having the different characteristic that we have to understand. And then the packaging material itself. So here, what we like to have later on, yeah, a really ready-to-eat product, yeah, ready-to-eat fresh product, yeah, the fruit in this case, and definitely in order also that you can find in the market, convenient to purchase, and really ready to eat, and visually still appealing, fresh as just a post-harvest fresh. That is definitely we need also. So the requirement in a modified atmospheric packaging that I'm talking about before, a lot that in regards to the carbon dioxide and nitrogen. But oxygen, you know, that is part of the, what is microorganism grow actually. They need also oxygen because this is also life creature. So, but in fruit, you may not totally delete the oxygen. Why? Because they need still the oxidation in order to make it a fruit. Usually you need the sweetness. Yeah. So oxidation is also to make it more sweet. That is the challenge in the MAP as well. Okay. So oxygen-free environmental is critical. That's why I mentioned this. Quality and shelf life. As I mentioned before, the internal factors that we have to modify, we have to simulate in order that the microorganism are not growing so fast. Yeah, we can extend the shelf life by slow down the growing of the microorganism. And the microorganism usually is really depend on the pH value, the water activity, the oxygen that I mentioned that before. So that any type of microorganism we have to understand as well. beside the external factor. The external factor here, in this case, the temperature, the hygienic condition, and the gas atmosphere itself. For example, like in our region here, the humidity is so high. You have to also to consider that. So, modified atmospheric packaging environment is a form, the finely balanced mix to decide the atmospheric gas. That is the name for modified atmosphere. So, the finely balance of that gas mix is, of course, the odor and of taste of the product itself will not deteriorate. And then, of course, the spoilage of because of the microorganism that I'm talking about. So they have to understand about that. And this is the role of the carbon dioxide in modified atmospheric packaging. Why is so important the carbon dioxide? Because the solubility of the carbon dioxide in water, that will generate the H2CO3. So this kind of acidity will also keep the microorganism will not growing so fast, the pH value in this case. So that is why is the carbon dioxide is very, very much important in this case. What beside the fruit itself is generate the carbon dioxide. Well, it's not good enough. That's why we have to extend. Okay? So that is all the advantage of the MAP. The extended distribution, as mentioned before. Of course, if you harvest the fruit from the tree, and then you want to distribute all over, even to export. Yeah, I know that Thailand is exporting a lot of fruit. So in order to really distribute in longer shelf life, you need this kind of special packaging and broader variety of the delicate fresh product that we have. So that's why this kind of technology will help a lot, because you have all the variety that you can make it also a certain functionality, functional packaging for that, and improve the profitability, because you reduce the food waste. We were talking before, again, in the first speaker, about food waste, but also regarding the packaging waste itself. The post-consumer packaging waste today have to design into so-called monomaterial. And with this case, because the functionality that you add by giving all the modified atmosphere and any kind of other agent later on, that can really recyclable, but not only recyclable. That's why the point that I mentioned, I want to mention regarding the first speaker that before. What we need today is also circularity. Circularity, that means recyclable, that can be reusable again. That is important in this case. That in that case, we really reduce the carbon footprint. The carbon footprint which is generate the climate change today. So this is all the advantage that you can get from the MAP. Again, this is the product with the MAP with modified atmospheric packaging, that you still keep the product fresh, good looking, and good tasting. That is very much important. So, MAP containers could be, or also flexible packaging. Depends on what kind of packaging that you can use or apply for that. And this is, of course, by R&D trial and standard operation procedure and quality control and so on. A whole guideline you can generate accordingly. Again, to summarize, in order to really keep the product fresh, the harder technology that we can really manage the water activity, the pH value, the temperature, and the gas itself inside the packaging. The next, that's what the agent I'm talking about. One of the very, very much important today, we have so many kind of additional functional agents in this case, what we call scavengers or or emitters. For example, we have oxygen scavengers, we have carbon dioxide scavengers, we have carbon dioxide emitters, and so on. Ethylene scavengers, yeah, that's also important in order to extend the fresh life, yeah. But sorry, is that so fast? Yeah, this is, for example, the application for that. There's so many, according to the application study that I made, that we can really adding this kind of scavenger agent for the packaging in order really to make it the functionality packaging. Yeah, this is all the application that I won't talk about that. There's so many actually, that possibility that you can do. So one of the very much important today is called the antimicrobial. I think this is a very, very much important today in order to make it a functional packaging. And this is a very, very functional in this case. So antimicrobial is that you can add to the film. If you use a plastic film in this case, you can add it, and this will make it the functional material and functional packaging for that. So this film is with antimicrobial incorporated and make it longer effect and leading in longer shelf life, definitely. Because you, as what we expect, to slow down the growing of the microorganism itself. So antimicrobial having different kind of chemical natures, but we need to also to adjust or to really make research and development for that in order to make it the right and the suitable antimicrobial for certain foodstuff that we want to make it this kind of packaging. So this is based on the case study, very short. I will share to you. The case study is a project aimed to extend the shelf life of fresh tropical fruit. And that was done, about more than 20 years ago. I did it. And the result is applied in the food makers with the flexible packaging. And this is the product, for example, yeah, only one, mango, yeah. We know that if you keep it in our ambient temperature, which is 20 degrees C and over, within day 10 days, the mangoes already look like that. You don't want to buy that anymore, right? If the product like that. Definitely not. And what happened in the day 16? So the product itself is not eatable anymore. It's already really soft, yeah? It's not nice anymore, definitely not, okay? What we really have to measure in this, you know that every fruit is about more than 90% of water, yeah, of water. So definitely one of the part doesn't make the mango look fresh, because water by the temperature, the normal temperature, will evaporate and it will shrink the product. So that one of the measurement is the initial texture that I'm talking about here, yeah. And then about the sugar content, because again, every fruit, sugar is sweetness is one of the important, of course. And then about the acidity, because fruit, fresh is also nice to have like a sour sweet taste in this case. And this is having, if you just harvest from the tree, this is the measurement that you do. And this is what we call it the benchmark as a fresh. Yeah? The benchmark for the freshness. Okay? That is the whole measurement that we have to do. Right? So, beside the color and so on, of course. So that we make with a different kind of packaging. We have N31 through. That is kind of structured packaging that we make with the all agent that I'm talking about, and so on and so on. So based on this, that we really making the trial within 20 days. So the best that we can find by 20 degrees C. So even by 20 degrees C. If 10 degrees C, even better. Yeah? Yeah? You make it more chill, then it's even better. So the P3140 is show acceptable change according to the measurement that we make about the total sugar and about the acidity. All right? Beside the texture and so on. So this is very, very much interesting in this case. And of course, again, for that kind of development of product packaging, we need the product itself, the process, and the package. Yeah? And what we also to really modified, yeah, really modified and developed for that based on the time, temperature, and the tolerance. Okay? The tolerance is the measurement that I'm talking about. All right? So, what are the choices of the packaging? I still keep it as a monomaterial, as I said. It could be a rigid plastic packaging. It could be a flexible packaging, but monomaterial. But with the functionality, monomaterial packaging. That is so important in this case. Yeah? What we make it as a smart packaging we're talking about. Yeah? This is, for example, yeah, that you can do. This is still recyclable and circular. That you can reuse that again. That is important. All right? So, trace and film, for example, CPAT is a very good because it will really keep stable in a very low temperature. Polyester usually having a certain anomaly in the temperature. So CPAT is a good, but for certain application, APAT still okay. And then the PP and so on, and then vacuum bag and so on. Okay, this is, for example, I gave you an example that very, very much in the European trend, you have a tray, and then with the lidding, you can print on the lidding. You really giving the all information about the freshness, how you keep, and so on, about the packaging, of course, and the branding as well. Today, packaging is very much for the brand image, right? This is the machine that you can use in order to make it inline packaging with a 60 to 70 pack per minute. So active and passive packaging definitely is very much important in the future in order to really giving all the requirement today to make it better in functionality, to make faster in delivery, to make smarter in the supply chain, to make it safer in the for our will not harmful our health, to make it cheaper. Always in the packaging. I've been more than 30 years in the packaging industry. Every year I've thinking how to make it more cheaper by efficiency, equipment efficiency, and so on. So that is very much important in the future, and definitely also to make the packaging recyclable. So biodegradable could be as long you have already a good waste management system. Yeah, before, if you combine between compostable or biodegradable material with the recyclable material, it won't work. It will jeopardize the other part of the product. Yeah, if that mix, yeah, then it's definitely will not work. As long as you have a waste management system very good, then you can make it with the biodegradable material. So smart packaging, as I mentioned today, smart packaging is not only about the functionality, but also regarding the supply chain that I'm talking about. You need also track and traceability in order to really collect the waste, the post-consumer waste, in order to make it to separate that, in order to separate. This is already started in Europe. They have a so-called Holy Grail 2.0 system in order really to separate by having the information to make the packaging smart in order to easy to segregate and to collect. So barcode, for example, easy, you have a QR code, 2D barcode, whatever now today. And then RFID is one of the other very, very much applied today as well. The time temperature indicators, yeah, this is another functionality that you can use for that. This is, for example, yeah, if your product is already spoiled, you can really detect by having this kind of temperature indicator, for example, okay? Or time temperature indicator, something like that, okay? So gas indicators as well, yeah? You have today all the features that you can use for that, okay? Biosensors, yeah? You have so many kind of development in that case. So amine sensor is for spoilage, yeah? Usually if it's spoiled, they will generate the amine gas for that, okay? So, conclusion, smart packaging is a very beneficiary for the agriculture product, I believe, that really can help to reduce the food waste and definitely also to reduce the packaging waste itself. Yeah, because you do it in a monomaterial. That is definitely the whole advantage in the future. Okay, thank you very much. That is all I could share with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Very nice speech, everyone. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Just finished now, we talked about the agro packaging. So anyone, if you have any question, okay, so we have Q&A session in the afternoon at about 1 p.m. onwards. Okay, so you can ask for any information from our speakers for that time. All right, ladies and gentlemen, for the next speaker, okay, we'll come here to meet everyone as soon at 11:30. Okay, wait for 10 minutes later. Okay, and now you can relax and wait for our next speaker. Right, thank you very much to Mr. Hengi Vibawa for your informative information. Right. So, ladies and gentlemen, for the next, okay, the next speaker, she is very important one in the WPO organization as well. So you can wait for the next. All right. First of all, may I introduce to you for our agenda for today. For today's presentation over here at the foyer, hall 98, we outside the hall number 98 at the corner. All right, anyone, if you are hearing my voice, you can come here to have a seat and waiting for our next speaker. Stand by at 11:30 for the next topic. The next topic we will talk about. All right, okay, let me see first for the next topic. The next topic, okay. All right, Miss Atala. Okay, Miss Atala. She is has partnered for more than a decade with UNIDO, United Nations Industrial Development Organization, and she's very famous as well. For the next speaker, everyone maybe know before. Miss Soha will talk about the packaging design considerations for 30 minutes. Okay, over here. Anyone, if you are interested for this topic, so you can come here to have a seat and take your seats. And right now, anyone, you can have for more information by our staff here for informal my guest and from the WPOs. Okay, and this area we have the seminar that is very interesting as well for all 4 days for this event. All right. For the next topic, let me introduce to you first for Ms. Soha Atola. She is the Vice President for Conference Exhibition and Roadstar for World Packaging Organization or WPO. And Ms. Soha Atola is an international packaging expert with extensive experience in industrial development, packaging, marketing, branding, and food safety throughout the Middle East, North Africa, and Asia. And over the past 20 years, she has provided packaging and labeling design services to more than 200 industrial companies around the world. Okay, she is a very, very working woman. Okay, she's very good at in many kind of business about packaging. And Miss Atala has partnered for more than a decade with UNIDO, United Nations Industrial Development Organization, as an international expert on packaging and marketing in numerous countries, including Mongolia, Morocco, Pakistan, Jordan, Oman, Egypt, Lebanon, and Tunisia. Her global expertise led to Ms. Otola's appointment in 2017 as the Vice President of the WPO, or World Packaging Organization, for which her mandate includes the group's exhibition, conference, and Roadstar International Packaging Competition. All right, so waiting for her. Okay, anyone do you know? Do you know her before? รู้จักมาก่อนไหมคะ Do you know her before? She's the vice president of the WPO. All right, everyone will meet her and see her for the next topic about the interesting topic as well. Okay, by Miss Soha Atalar. With the topic of packaging design considerations. Okay, anyone, if you're interested for this topic, so could you please come here to check it out now and have a seat to wait for her, and she will come here, and maybe she talk, yeah, for more over 30 minutes. Yes, okay. Regarding to yesterday, because a lot of the slides of the presentation. So, and so fun to listening to for the next speaker. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, before we are going to see our next speakers. Okay, she come already. All right, everyone, please have a seat and remain here to see her as well. Okay, and first of all, everyone know about our event today for the ProPack Asia 2023. This is a 30th anniversary. Okay, first of all, I would like to congratulate to the ProPack Asia. Oh, okay, so long time for your organization. And okay, once again, I would like to inform that we have 4 days for our event, and today is the second day. Today is the second day that we divided for the seminar for today. as 2 sessions for in the morning and in the afternoon. And in the afternoon, everyone will see our speakers 3 sessions. We have more interesting and famous speakers to give you for the informative speech or any information about the packaging. All right, okay. And for before we are going to the second session. Okay, so we have break for lunch for 1 hour, and we will come back again right here at about 1 p.m. Okay, 1 p.m. So you will have the a meeting with our next speaker at about 1 p.m. Okay, at 1 p.m. Okay, let me tell you again for the topic at 1 p.m. about global trends in packaging. By Mrs. Luciana Pellegrino, Senior Vice President for Marketing World Packaging Organization or WPO in the afternoon. All right, are you ready? Okay, ready, right? Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, everyone know her already for her biography and her profile. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please join me to welcome Ms. Soha Atala, Vice President for Conference Exhibition and Warsaw for World Packaging Organization WPO. Please give a big round of applause. ขอเสียงปรบมือค่ะ
Good morning. Okay, just a second. Okay. So yesterday we talked about the COVID trend, the post-COVID trend for packaging. Today I'm going to provide you a presentation on the importance of marketing, because as you know, packaging has different role to play, and the most important role is the functional role. But also, packaging has to sell your product. It has to attract the consumers. And we also talked about the sustainable point of view, the legal point of view. So in this presentation, I will be focusing on the marketing aspect of packaging. I'm sure you know what are these brands, right? Coca-Cola. And do you know this one? Perrier. Although I hide the name of the brand, but you recognize that it's Coca-Cola. Why you recognize? From the shape of the bottle. So this is the important role of packaging. It creates a brand image and a brand loyalty with the consumer so that you could recognize your brand directly and you are attracted to this brand. Also for Perrier, it's a kind, I don't know, it's like San Pellegrino. It's a kind of sparkling water. It's very famous in Europe. And also because of the shape and the color of the bottle. In my country, they call it the green bottle even. So sometimes not even the shape, the color is being owned by the brand. So your packaging is in the supermarket. Sometimes we have representatives who talks about your brand. And now the packaging is being your brand ambassador, because the packaging should convey this message to your consumer and should attract them. The packaging design should attract the consumer attention by the specific color, specific shapes, specific ergonomic. So that's why I always say your packaging is your brand ambassador, and you should invest in your packaging design to not only to protect the product, but to sell it as well. Because this is the important role of packaging, to sell the product as well. Whenever we are in the supermarket, we want to go and buy, especially in this hectic life. We don't have time a lot. And really packaging play a very important role in deciding sometimes, especially if we are talking about the new product that they are being on the shelf. So you have some seconds to buy between this product and this product. And guess what? The packaging design plays 70% from the decision making to get this product or this product. Now we have to talk about some psychology. You know, our brain is divided into two sides, the left brain and the right brain. Sometimes we think logical, linear, science, and sometimes we are more emotional. Sometimes we think from the heart, and sometimes we think from the brain. Well, packaging design, whenever we buy something really nice, here we are thinking emotional. So the colors evokes emotion, the shape. Many times, especially us women, we buy cosmetics or perfume or any kind of product that is luxurious because of the design. So here there's a direct connection with the left side, the right side of the brain. I'm sure you know about these brands. Why do you think these brands are very successful? What? Lot of history? And why they are still there? I will tell you why they are still there. Because these brands were very smart to respond to consumer needs. Consumer needs, they change over the time. It's not static. We keep on changing. Our needs, our desires change from time to time. And when you are in business, you need to keep on changing. You need to keep on innovating. So this kind of brand, they innovated. Like the Nescafe, the 3-in-1, for example, it was an innovation and it's very famous. In my country, a 3-in-1, because we are on the go, we want to have, instead of having sugar and coffee made, so they invented and they put it. Same for Coca-Cola, they keep on innovating, they keep on following the consumer trends. So let's see these brands. Although they are very famous and history, they don't exist anymore. Although Nokia, BlackBerry were the leaders in the iPhone business, in the phone business. Now we call it iPhone. Now there's iPhone and Samsung. Why? Why do you think these brands, they don't exist anymore? Because they didn't respond to consumer needs, because they weren't quick in innovating and in following consumer needs. And this is, when you are in business, you cannot just relax. I'm Nokia #1, I'm BlackBerry. They are no more in the market because they didn't follow the trend. And iPhone, which is a completely new to the phone business, is a #1, and the Samsung and other brands. So really we need to follow and to keep updated with the consumer demands, or simply we are outside the market. You know this brand, Actimel? You don't have it here in Thailand. This brand, because of the packaging, they created this idea is that when you have this morning shot, as if it's a booster of vitamins or energy, and they created this concept, and it's doing very well because they innovated the shape of the package to give this impression as if it's a booster shot or immunity shot. So when we talk about the marketing side of packaging, we really need to understand all the marketing process. And it's not an easy process. First of all, you need to have a marketing research. You need to understand your consumer. You need to select your consumer. You need to understand the marketing mix, the product, the price, all of this. You need to go into the 101 of marketing. And then you need to do a segmentation. You cannot approach everyone, especially if you are a startup or a new in your business. You need to define a certain segment and focus on it. And then you need to have your own brand positioning. And then you decide what are the packaging design elements, the material, the color, the shape, the typography, everything else. And for sure, the legal side, we need to understand the legal side of our country or where we are going to export. So the basic things of any business is the consumer needs. We need to, if we really want to sell our product, we need to understand the needs, and we need to convert these needs into demands. I'm thirsty. I want to buy a Coke or water or Aquafina or everything. And here is the process of the marketing of converting your needs into demands. Second very important thing is the positioning. You know, I have a packaging design team in my company, and before, whenever I have a client and he wants to design a package, we ask them this question: what is your positioning? High-end, golden goose, mass market, niche market? And I don't know, we have this in our culture, everybody wants to be high-end. And this is wrong. It's okay to be mass. Trust me, the mass, they sell more. Zara, for example, in the clothes business, they sell much more than Louis Vuitton or Prada or something. It's also with the cosmetic Nivea. They sell much more than Clarins or Prairie. So it's okay to be mass. But many people, they confuse this and they want to be high-end. Mass doesn't mean that you are a bad quality. Okay, so this exercise is very important. It's very important in your own business, in your own team, to do this kind of positioning before doing the packaging design. Because the packaging design will reflect your marketing strategy. This is an example for milk, okay? So it's milk. We have here high-end, milk in a glass bottle. Look at the design, look at the shape. This is normal, regular milk in Tetra Pak. And this is mass. This is, by the way, I was in Mongolia on a mission, and they sell it in a pouch like this. So if I'm a designer, first of all, I need to understand the positioning of the brand. You want high-end, medium, and then I will be able to decide on the material, and then I will be able to decide on the graphics. I'm not talking about shelf life and all of this. I discussed this yesterday in my presentation, because also the product specification, the data sheet of the product is important to select the material. But here I'm also talking about the marketing side, the positioning side of the brand, in order to select which is the best material. Another example of spices, and this is, I'm from Lebanon, from the Middle East. We like a lot of spices. So see the difference? Also here, maybe the same pouch, but here we're talking about colors, about design. Always the black color gives like luxurious thing about the product. So if he wants to be a mass, I wouldn't design something like this. Because why? Remember, we thought about psychology. We see with our eyes, and the eyes will send message to the brain. Whenever I look at these spices, directly my brain say, oh, it's expensive. And sometimes I don't want this impression. Sometimes people get scared from high-end food product. They write directly, no, it's expensive. I cannot afford it. Dates. Also in the Middle East, we like the dates a lot. So this is a very normal packaging for dates. And this is more luxurious in wood. Look at the design, So this is more for a gift. And this is more for our home use. So as I said, we need to understand the marketing mix. First of all, I need to understand the product, the specification of the product, but then I need to understand the price. I cannot design a package before knowing the end price, because I want this package to reflect this price, either to justify it or to give it its right price. And then how I'm going to promote this package in the market, where, and for sure the place is very important. We're going to see some examples. So whenever we talk about the product, here it's technical, I want to understand it. food, non-food, composition, the logistics, everything. Is it a fragile? All of this, the feature, the quality. Is it a single use, a multiple use? I need to understand this. And really, you need to do your own homework before going to the packaging design agency, because they will be asking you this question. Any product has a cycle. When you launch the product, it's the most really difficult part when you introduce a product in the market, and then you need to maintain a maturity level, and then there's sometimes when your sales are dropping, when you have competitors and all of this. And also, we also need to understand in which phase, in which cycle your product is there. When we talk about the place, where are you going to sell your product? Are you going to sell your product in Thailand? Or you're going to export it to Europe, or to the States, or to the Middle East? Because packaging design are different in these areas. Also, the logistics are different. Are you going to sell it to wholesale, B2B, or B2C? And we're going to see example. Also, as I said yesterday, we need to understand the logistic, the value chain. Are you going to send it by plane, by train, by truck? Because every packaging has its own resistance to all the physical hazards that any product face in that trip. So this is an example. We really need to know, before deciding on which packaging material, we need to know the logistic that you are going to use. And here when I talk, where are you going to sell your product? Are you going to sell it in a high-end supermarket, some gourmet signature market, or are you going to sell it maybe in a gas, these gas stations, they have their supermarket, or you're going to sell it in restaurant, or you're going to sell it on the plane, or in hotels? We really need to understand where you're going to sell the product, because the packaging then will be different. For example, whenever you are in the plane, you have some kind of product in the plane. It's different than you're going to buy it in the supermarket. So you really need to know where you're going to sell your product, and if it's a wholesale or a retail. Wholesale, we call it industrial packaging. When you are selling B2B, and you use different kind of packaging design, completely different. Here is an example. Thailand is famous for massage, Thai massage. I'm looking forward to have it. So this is a massage oil. This is consumer, B2C, business to consumer. This is B2B. This is maybe to spa, to hotels, or so. So that's why you really need to think, what is the purpose of the packaging, B2B or B2C? It's very important. This is another example of B2B or B2C. The tomato, are they going to be bulk in a market, or as a consumers, pre-packed? Also, you need to think about the promotion, the advertising. How are you going to promote your product? Social media, TV, newspaper. This is very important in the marketing as well. Let me go to this. So this is the marketing mix that we have talked about. Really, this is a very important slide. So first of all, the product. The product is very important to understand your product. Really, you need to understand your product very well in terms of composition, in terms of positioning, in terms of marketing strategy, because this will be helping you to define the packaging material. And also about the price, as we said, you need to define the price before going and design your package. You need to tell the packaging designer that I want the packaging to be only 20% of my budget of the whole price. I want it 10%, sometimes 50%, for whenever we're talking about perfume or high-end product. So you really need to do this kind of budget. You really need to understand the place, where you're going to sell it, and how you're going to promote it. Another important aspect in marketing is the market segmentation. Market segmentation is dividing the consumer, because every segment of the consumer, they have different needs, different demands. Sometimes in the same family, we don't have the same taste or the same needs. So we need to segment these consumer into different segments, and then we need to understand the needs of different segments in order to see how to attract them. This is an example for women, for example. Woman is a larger thing. But you need to segment the woman. First on age, girls, married woman, single woman, conservative woman, liberal woman, elderly woman. Each one of these women is attracted to different packaging or to different product. They don't all share the same needs. And that's why the packaging design should be different to each one. And we're going to see some examples. So first, whenever we talk about segmentation, we have the demographic, the psychographic, the geographical, and the behavioral. When we talk about the demographic, the first part is age, because in different age, our perception of life is changing. I think differently now than I think 10 years ago. I keep on growing, I keep on changing. Gender is very important. Men and women, they are attracted to different things. The education, income. Income is very important in deciding the purchasing power and the purchasing needs. And ethnicity, where I come from, my culture, my traditions. So here when we talk about the gender is important, but the age as well is important as we talk about. So here, Clarins, you're familiar with Clarins. It's a cosmetic, French cosmetic brand. So whenever they decided to introduce the man line, they had a different color. They adopted the blue marine, or the blue gitan, we called it. Why? Because it's more attractive to men than other colors. We talk for kids. Kids, by the way, they play an important role in the purchasing power. We all buy product to please our kids. So here, Amora, it's the same brand, no? But look how they changed the structural design, the visual design. The ketchup here is the same as the ketchup here. But here, they invested more. Why? To attract the kids. So that the kids, while the mom or the dad is in the supermarket, tell them, I want this one. Because he or she was attracted by this package. Coca-Cola, even Coca-Cola, that is the mass product. They introduced, first of all, the Coca Light. But then they said Coca Light, a man in a supermarket or in a restaurant or asking Coca Light, it's more for women. So they introduced the Coca Zero. It's more robust, it's more man, the color, the same. Although it's the same concept. This is Coca Light and this is Coca Light. So they changed it a little bit. Zero sugar and zero light. So even this kind of design, also because they find that men, they don't like to ask for Coca Light. They ask for Coca Zero. Here also another brand, Glamour. This is a cigarette. I don't think that there's a man who will be attracted to buy this kind of cigarette with flowers and pinky color. Same for this kind of cream. Gillette, when they introduced, or Bic, when they introduced the shaver, it's different color, different illustration to attract women. Kids as well. McDonald's, how they use the illustration in their Happy Meal and all of this. By the way, as I told you, the kids segment, there's a lot of creativity and illustration. See, for the Colgate, for the shampoo, so they change the structure, they change the material completely to attract this segment. So they invest in these kind of packaging because they know it will create impact and it will increase sales for this segment for the kids. Evian, we'll have a site on Evian. They introduce a full line, a Disney line for the waters. When we talk also about ethnicity is, you know, when you go sometimes to supermarket, they have the normal food section, and then they have the specialty food section, the Chinese, the Thai food, the Arabic food. So also I need to understand as a designer where my product will be listed. Some people, they don't want to put these marks that shows that they come from the Middle East or they come from China. They want their product to be European or cosmopolitan. But some people know they want it to emphasize their origin. It's depending. In Lebanon, for example, many brands will come to me and say, no, we want to be like Lebanese or Arab. And some people, no, we want to look European, neutral. It's a choice. And also where you will be placed in the supermarket, because when you sell in the supermarket, you're going to be asked on which shelf you want to be, with a specialty food or with a normal food. So this is also another example for ethnicity or Arab design for some product. Besides the gender and the income and all this demographic, we called about the psychographic. Some people are more trendy. Some people, for example, yesterday we were talking, some people, men even in some formal occasion, will wear very funky colors of socks. Some people will say, no, this is too funky, I will wear like black only. Or for example, for the watch, some people are daring, they want to, it's different, a different style. Some people have different personality. Same for the packaging, this is coffee and this is coffee. But the people who will buy this are different than they will buy this. Some people, really, they are trendy, they like experience, and some people, no. They are more conservative. I don't want to have different experience. So we really sometimes need to go to the personality of each consumers and which colors or which trends attract them. So I always tell you, study your market research very well, do the customer segmentation, understand the needs, and then go to the packaging design, because some people jump directly to this. And this is wrong. It's a process. You need to really have a good marketing strategy. And sometimes ask for help. Because really, you will not be having the right packaging design that you want if you don't understand your consumer and put a marketing strategies. This is some tips that I will tell you. Keep your packaging eye-catching. The first impression is very important. It's like when you meet someone. The first impression is really important. Without start to talk. And then when the person starts to talk, either you like it or you don't like it. So the same for the food or the product. The first impression of the package will create this impression, and then you buy it and try it. So really invest in your packaging and be different from your competitors. You really need to study also your competitors in order to stand out. And as I said, you need to have a message, and you need to communicate this message in your packaging and to ensure your brand recognition. Remember the first slide for Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola, they don't change their Pantone, they don't change their typography. You need to maintain this kind of brand loyalty or brand dynamics so that you have a brand loyalty. And last but not least, the price is very important. The price, especially after COVID, consumers are very sensitive to a price. So once you have this consumer research, then you go to your designer and design the shape, the color, the typography, the graphics, and all of this, not before. Okay? So this is the example that I always want to show it. How a simple brand like Evian, they have different segments. It's the same brand. It's the same water in all these bottles. Same water, same product. But 4 different segments. This one is high-end. It's glass, direct printing on glass. It's expensive. You will not buy it for your home. It will be sold in high-end restaurants, high-end hotels. This is the regular one. This one is directly segmented to people who are doing jogging. They want to grab it in an ergonomic check. Even the spouts are different. And the last one is for the kids. But this is for a well-established brand like Evian. It's a very famous brand, have been in the market since years. So they can allow themselves to have different segments. Not all the brands have the budget to have different packaging and different design and different illustration to attract certain segment. Okay, so even I'm telling you here, another example for Coca-Cola, we talked about it. In some country, they even introduced this. I don't know if you saw it, the live Coca-Cola. So even Coca-Cola, that is the most mass product, they are also adopting segmentation because they are realizing that people are different. They have different style, different attraction. Okay. So this is an example of niche product. Whenever we talk about niche product, it's different than high-end. Niche product, this is, by the way, olive oil. You think maybe that it's a perfume or something. This is olive oil. But this company, they are not interested in selling too much. It's like the limousine, or not the limousine, the Rolls-Royce in the car industry. It's for limited people. So this is when we talk about high-end or niche product. So this is a kind of niche packaging for high-end olive oil. This is honey. It's really nice, but it's not mass. Nobody can afford to buy it because it's like a gift. It's like really a very high-end packaging for honey. So this slide, I summarize it. For example, for men, women, kids, and elderly. For the structural design, the men, they like the robust structure. For the women, they like more feminine, curvy. And for kids, they want the fun structures. And for the elderly, we need to think about the accessible packaging design, how to open it, how to use it, how to grab it. And legibility is very important. The font really needs to be good size in order for the elderly to use it. And for sure, we talked about the colors that they are differently used to attract different segments. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, so, wow. Okay, have you fun for our presentation today? Yes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you everyone for joining for the first session in this morning. And we also have another session at the next. Okay, we will start for the second session at 1 p.m. So, ladies and gentlemen, now everyone can relax, have some lunch. Okay, I'm not sure for where you can eat some food for lunch, maybe at the center or upstairs. And yes, you can ask for more information at the registration counter. All right, thank you very much for joining us for this first session. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for all speakers. You are all fantastic speakers for today. All right, thank you to Soha Atala. She is the Vice President for Conference Exhibition in World Star Packaging Organization of WPO as well. Thank you everyone. All right. everyone, we have finally come to the end of the morning presentation. And before I close the session, I would like to inform you that after a break or lunch break at 1 p.m. or 13 o'clock. So I would like to make appointment everyone with you all to stand by right here again to have a seat to listening for the next speakers with the topic with the interesting topic of global trends in packaging for the next at 1 p.m. All right, ladies and gentlemen, for in this afternoon we will have 3 more interesting presentation, and also we have the Q&A session as well, discussion by WPO's expert. Okay, so please don't miss it. Okay, enjoy for your lunch and see you later at 1 p.m. Thank you everyone, thank you so much. See you then.